I'm like 1.5 feet longer than I really in the way here. I hear him walking up the stairs. I have to stop talking about where he puts shit now. Because he might laugh if he hears the conversation, or he might get upset. It depends on his mood. One sheet. Okay. And we have one more sheet that we're going to need. But I might as well take all 3 sheets out and paint them. They all got to get painted. I don't know why we bought 3 sheets. No, we bought 1 sheet for the bottom. Doesn't matter. Oh no. Oh, I thought that was my GoPro. He might even forgot that he said he was going to come down and help me. He said that last night. But actually he worked from, man, he works a lot of hours. He worked from on Sunday night. I think he just worked a double. I think he went in. No. He went in 2 nights ago at midnight, came home at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then he went to work again, overtime, and then he worked another full shift. He might have forgotten. Well, can't blame him for that. Does work a lot of hours, and he works erratic hours. Okay. I'm really tired now. I've been at this since 7 o'clock this morning. I've been at this longer than I care to think about it, actually. I didn't start at 7. I started at about 8. It's 3 o'clock now. So I got 8 hours into it. But the stucco, there was shit in the stucco. It wasn't, the thorough seal had lumps in it. And even after I thorough sealed the wall, Then I had to go over it with a scraper, and then when it was almost dry, I had to sponge it. So I had a three-step something that should have been one step. Wasn't the happy camper about that. Was not the happy camper about that. Okay. What I should have did. Oh boy, what should I have done? Okay, I gotta measure. I need a pencil, and I know I have pencils right here, baby. I have a whole drawer with pencils. If anything I have is pencils. There's a nice pencil from the 1980s. Okay. So, first piece. Goes from 35 to 38 3/8. 34 and a half to 38. 34 and a half to 38. 34 and a half. $38. $34 and a half to 38. Was that right? 34 and a half to 38. $84 to 88. 84. $84. 88. Now, we need depth. So whatever one is, 5. 4 and a half. 4 and a half. Now, there's a difference, a disparity in depth because the wall has a wave in it. Maybe he ain't coming. splinters on it from the factory. I haven't worked with wood in a long time. I don't do wood anymore. I do tree service. Okay. Then I'm going to cut those out. Then I'm gonna have to cut these, and then I'm gonna have to paint everything the way it is, where it is too. I can't justify moving everything twice again. All right, so I'll cut these where they are. Then I'll paint everything where it is. Remove it after it's painted. Let's see, can we still do this? Did I remember how to do it? I did. Brother. Tommy's house, Megan speaking. Hey, bro. Sure? It's not done. It's not done, so if until it's done, I'm going to be working down here. Yeah, oh, fuck yeah. Tom, if you don't feel like coming down, it's not a problem, man. I know that you work a lot of fucking hours. And you don't sound so good. What's that? No, not really. I mean, no, not at all. I'm good. Yeah, I mean, Tommy, you work these erratic hours, you work fucking long hours, it's fucking cold. Get some fucking rest, man. Get some fucking rest. Yeah, I'm good. Oh God, that pepper took almost 7 hours to eat, Tom. Yeah, I made one mouthful every 10 or 15 minutes. From the time you gave it to me till the time I went to bed, and then I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I knocked it off, most of the rest. I got some left, But yeah, it took. Oh, that was delicious. It was too good to eat all at once because you don't get to taste the flavor every time. You know, you take a mouthful. Yeah, it was fucking. And I didn't put nothing on it. It was perfect just the way it was. Yep. No, thank you. All right, so get some, Tommy. You sound tired. You're wheezing. Just go to fucking bed, man. Get a couple hours of sleep. Don't worry about me. I won't need you tonight, bro. But thanks for asking. All right, have a nice evening. All right, bro. Bye-bye. Like I said, man, he sounds terrible. He's wheezing, he's coughing. You can hear it in his voice that he's tired. He works 16 hours on, 8 hours off, because he had to go in for somebody else's shift. So instead of having 32 off, he had 8 off, worked an additional 8, then had, instead of having 24 off, he had to come in early for his 32, and then he switched with somebody else. So he worked like 40 hours in 60 hours. And he got some sleep at work, you know, nap, but that's not enough. So I'm on my own. Oh no, what am I going to do now? Well, the next thing I'm going to do is, before I get hurt, I'm going to break all the screws off of all the wood, because the screws were going to be Tommy's job, and they weren't in my way at that point. But now, to work on this bench with the screws protruding up through the wood, we're just asking to get injured by a fucking, you know, stupid screw. So I think I'll switch the angle of the camera now that these are the screws. I just popped them right through the wood everywhere they were supposed to go, because I don't really care what they look like. I'm going to break them off, and then this plywood gets placed on top of the screws, so even if they stick up, they don't break off evenly. Even if they break off 1/8 of an inch higher than the decking that I have on there, it won't make a difference, because the plywood is soft and it's just crushed in. So now I'm going to put this milk crate at the end of the bench over here. I'm basically going to build this bench and then paint it. And then I'm going to put it together, and I have to pull it away from the wall a little bit to paint a little bit, but not so much. Okay. Okay. Now, whatever you'll be able to see, I'm going to start breaking off these screws at the end of the bench. Take all of this tools off of here so nothing's in the way. Put them on the end of the bench here. I have a magnet to put the screws on so I don't drop them on the floor. It saves you the trouble of looking for a garbage pail every time you want to drop a screw. If it was a garbage pail, it might go in the pail, might not go in the pail. But the magnet, when it goes on the magnet, pretty easy. behind the clamp. There's a rogue screw. Our bad boy was evading me. We'll have none of that. Used my axe today. Used my 40-year-old level. I remember when that level was new, it had a little magnetic strip on the side of it. It was like the newest gadget in the lumberyard. A magnet on aluminum level, so you could stick it to the side of the refrigerator, or when the metal studs came out in the 70s, you could just put it on the metal studs. Here's what it looks like. When you use the magnet, and there's none there, none there, none over there. Okay, this is done. Okay, now, the next thing we have to do is mix the paint. Mix the paint. My legs hurt so much from working on this concrete. The back of my knees, just from standing on this cold concrete all day. Okay. 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 Now, I guess we could take this off of here, because we're done with tools for today. We might do some painting and we might not do some painting. My legs are killing me, but we are going to mix the paint. And here's a nice cushion. Okay, let's see. Now I want to show you some paint that I have here. I don't know what it's going to look like. But this gallon of paint I got in 1971 or 72 when I was a sophomore in high school. And that's what everything in the basement was painted with for the last 40 years. Well, I haven't been here in 10 years, but for 30 years after 1972, everything that's painted white in the basement, green or blue, I mixed in colors, was this paint from the Board of Education. They gave me about 25 gallons of it when I was in high school. They were very nice to me. And now, I have a paint can opener right here, and I have a brush. Now I want to brush the top of the rust off, because this went underneath water in Hurricane Sandy. Now this might be garbage, because maybe after 40 years, but I gotta tell you, the last can looked like garbage, and when you mixed it up, when you scratched the bottom and mixed the paint back up, it came right back to life. There's really no reason for it not to, unless it dries up. But if the pigment and all the thinners and the coagulants don't get dried and never hit air, and these have never hit air, the chances are the paint is going to still be good. Now I had a big screwdriver. That I was working with yesterday. Okay. This can of paint, this is some interior latex paint, which I mixed in some Acryl 60 with, and now it became an exterior epoxy paint. Once you mix the Acryl 60 into the shit, it stays good forever. So, we need a piece of paper or cardboard that I have on the floor over here. Wow, this cover is coming off like it was brand new. Even though the can got salt water on it, even though it's 41 years old, the cover is coming off of this can as if it was built yesterday. Because the quality, a new can, the cover wouldn't last 41 years. It would, even if it was just moisture in the air, it would blow it apart. Look at this. Look at this. It didn't even go through the can, the rust. Look at this paint. It's like new. It's like brand new. Huh. It's amazing. Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to move these 3 pieces of plywood because Tommy's not coming down. So everything is different again. I'm going to move these 3 pieces of plywood. I want to show you this paint. Look at this paint. 41 years old. Harco Latex Semi-Gloss White, 27925. Manufactured in 1971 or 72 or before, and it looks like it was just put in the can last week. Amazing. Freaking amazing. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have to take these 3 sheets of plywood and move them again, even though I don't want to, being that I'm working by myself. Everything is different now. Everything is different. Everything is different. Okay, that's one. That's 2. Now, in theory, I could leave this almost where it is. I could paint it on the front right where it is, and I could do that. Okay, so here is the container that I want to put that paint in. Look at this genius. He left the roller in there. Huh. Never mind. Okay. So, we need a paint stick. We don't need this broom over here. Okay. Now I don't know how much of this paint will come out of the can without me scraping the bottom, but you're going to see the oil, the latex oil come off the top. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. You got to remember, this paint's 41 years old. Look at this. Look at that, nothing on the bottom. Less than an inch of paint on the bottom. And that will come right out with a little stick. Now the one thing that I do is I don't mix paint with water. Look at this. I do mix it with distilled water though, because I found that it makes a difference in the long run. I don't know why, but it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go upstairs and get half a gallon of distilled water. Oh boy, I'm just going to move this piece of plywood one more time so I can go upstairs. I have distilled water that I made with the water distiller from 2010 making water right now. Oh yeah. Oh, my knees are killing me. Oh God, my knees hurt. It's cold down here. It's only about 55 degrees in the basement. But I've been walking on this concrete for about 5 or 6 days. It's not like I just started walking on it today. Oh God, this stuff is like brand new. You're going to see, I'm going to show you in a minute. Here was the top of the can.